Good morning and welcome to SMUUCh. I'm Reverend Rose, the minister here. It is a joy to see you all. Whoever you are, whomever you love, wherever you are on your life's journey, you are welcome here. If you are new to SMUUCh and want to know more about our church, please fill out our Get in Touch form using the link below in our video description. Or if you're interested in learning more about Unitarian Universalism, please join our Just the Basics class in the new year on the second Sunday of January, right after the service. For all of you joining us live this morning, feel free to start posting your joys and sorrows now if you would like them to be read by the rest of the congregation. It is a joy to see you and an honor to be broadcast into your homes from my home. First, just a friendly reminder that COVID cases are on the rise around us, and I urge you to be as careful as possible, making contact with others outside of your household only when necessary and well thought out, and always wearing your mask. As we enter into the longer nights, please consider the wealth of connection, service, and meaning that is going on here at church. You could join a small group. You could volunteer at the pantry or shelter, which is full and is full of COVID precautions. Or you could even just participate in the chat on Sunday morning, or write back to the person who wrote you a handwritten letter. Or you could just participate by lighting a candle first thing in the morning and thinking kind, loving thoughts about your friends here at church, your neighbors, and yourself. You could even just support the church by loving yourself and taking care of yourself, because we need you to be here too. And we hope that you don't spend Christmas alone. Come and spend it here with us at our regularly scheduled Christmas Eve service on December 24th. You and your family and friends who are afar could watch the service together. Your only task is to have a candle and a spark of some sort ready so that we can together truly make this a silent, holy night. Lastly, I want to let you know that today I have invited you into my office here in my home, where I keep all my books and I do all my writing. It is a peaceful place for me, and it is a joy to get to share it with you. Our monthly theme in December is stillness. So this service, which takes place on the winter solstice, is about finding that stillness and the light and peace that we carry within. So let us begin this service by giving ourselves permission to rest, to let go of anything that is in our mind about what we need to produce, what we need to get done, what we need to complete or resolve. For when we rest, we are not just doing the deep restorative work that we need to do, we are also doing resistance work. Resisting a society which tells us that our value is in what we can produce and how fast we can do things. So let us begin with our mantra, which we will repeat throughout the service. So close your eyes, breathe in through your nose and out through your mouth. And locate in yourself that first nagging thought you have, or that anxiety or a clutching in your body. Allow yourself to just linger one moment on that thing that you need to complete, do, or produce, and repeat after me. Let it be. Please enjoy this segment now about artwork. Two weeks ago, I shared a piece of art with you that I have in my home of the Buddha. Today, I'd like to share another piece of sacred art, another religious figure whose season is upon us, the Mother Mary. The image that we have of her in our home is of her incarnation as La Virgen de Guadalupe, which is how she appeared to an Aztec shepherd on December 12th, 1531. She was wearing Aztec robes and speaking Nahuatl. You can see here that she has this black sash around her stomach, which is the Aztec symbol of pregnancy. La Virgen de Guadalupe has become a central figure in Latin American Catholicism. And indeed, these rays of light that are emanating from behind her symbolize that she stands in front of the sun, who was the Aztec god. That perhaps she eclipses God, or is God, is goddess. Or perhaps it's that she comes when the sun is not here. That it is at the year's longest night that she arrives wearing a cloak of stars, riding on the moon, speaking words of wisdom, let it be. Because here's the thing about Mary. Across the world, the depictions of her have one clear commonality, even beyond the stars and the cloak and the blue robe and the sun and the baby. She is peaceful. In the moment of transition and stress, poverty, political upheaval, war, oppression, duty, physical trauma, she is serene. She is peaceful as she basks in the light that she has carried in her body. Let us now look to images of the Mother Mary the world over, this universal symbol of the sacred parent, the sacred child, as this season we celebrate all babies. This time of year is about family, about children, about every child, about every parent, about every way that the world cares for and loves the children. Through teachers, neighbors, aunts and uncles, foster parents, friends, RE teachers, doctors, nurses, you name it. So today's service is dedicated to you who make caring for children your primary spiritual practice. And we give you the hope of rest, of peacefulness, of stillness. It's chalice lighting time! All you need is a candle, a spark, and some sort of special chalice. And some parental supervision. Please join me in affirming that love is the doctrine of this church. The quest for truth is its sacrament, and service is its prayer. To dwell together in peace, to seek knowledge in freedom, to serve humanity in fellowship, to the end that all souls shall grow into harmony with the divine. Thus do we covenant with one another.
Hi, Celie. How are you?
I'm good. How are you, Miss Patrice?
I'm seeing you right in front of this beautiful altar, and I wanted to ask you about it if you could share before we got started.
Yeah, this is Reverend Rose's altar, and this is where they put like beautiful things that they find. Like, look, here's some roses, some dried roses, and then we have like just a bunch of candles, and this is where we do meditation.
Oh, that's perfect because I would love to do a meditation with you today.
Ooh, okay.
Awesome. Well, did you know tonight, actually, Celie, is the longest night of the year?
No.
It's the winter solstice. And that's just something I wanted to talk to you about. It's about our chalice. First off, have you ever watched a candle burn?
Well, candles are new to me, obviously, because we don't have them in the sea.
That makes sense. Can't light them underwater.
No.
It dances in the wind. It changes with every breath of air.
Wow.
Fire is alive. It is born. It grows and it dies. It can live again and again. People knew that fire was special. There was the great fire in the sky, the sun, which made the earth warm and made night into day. And there were smaller fires that people made, fires that cooked their food, kept them warm, and brought bright light. So I thought today, before I go on, we could sit in front of our lit chalice, our lit candle, and just soak in the fire. So first, if you could get into a comfortable position, whether it's seated, standing, or lying down. So when we're breathing in, you're breathing in through your nose, and you're releasing through your mouth. And so when we breathe in, I want you to think of breathing in all the peace you can to relax. And I want you to, when you release and breathe out, I want you to breathe out love. Is there anything special you do, Celie, with your meditation?
Sometimes if I try to meditate and I don't focus on the earth, it's really hard. So thanks for telling me to look at a candle. So I'm going to do that.
That's awesome. Do you want to show me how you Om, and I can turn the timer on for 1 minute?
Yeah.
All right, whenever you're ready, we can do our Om.
Okay.
Your Oms really helped me with the vibration. I liked it. How was looking at the chalice for you, the light?
Psychedelic.
People thought that fire was something sacred and holy, actually.
Don't we? Don't we think fire is sacred? Don't we light a chalice?
Yes, you're so right. So, like, every single religion does have fire.
Wow, so we believe that fire is sacred, but also we believe that being with each other and supporting each other is sacred?
Yes, definitely we do. We help each other and we share food and drink with each other and we take care of each other because that's what families are supposed to do, Celie. How's that sound, Celie? Should we invite everyone?
Yeah. Hey, Reverend Rose. Yeah. Come here.
Rev Rose, will you be a part of our Unitarian Universalist home family and church family?
Yeah.
Oh, sweet. Because the Unitarian Universalist chalice is a chalice of love.
Aw.
Thank you for sharing your chalice on your altar there.
Yeah, Celie showed it to you. I heard from the other room.
Celie did. Thank you for letting us have our alone time, Rev Rose.
Yeah. Bye, everybody. Thanks for being here.
Bye, Celie.
Happy solstice.
Yes, happy winter solstice.
This is the time in our order of service where we expand the caring love of our congregation, where we draw to heart and mind those in our midst who are suffering and those who feel the sweet relief of their burdens easing. Today we will do our meditation from my home desk. Those of us who are living at work, working from home, might be having an intense relationship with your home office, and I have found that this is the spot where it's most important for me to sit up straight, meditate, and find space to do my compassion work and my inner peace work. So I'll invite you to close your eyes, prepare yourself to draw into your heart those who are suffering, knowing that it is our compassion which leads to our peace. It is our own ability to love which allows us to be still. So today we think of everyone who cannot rest, of everyone who carries guilt if they stop. We hold in our hearts those whose drive has taken on a life of its own, for all the ways that our society and our world push us forward into productivity and rapidness. And also today we draw into our heart those who make caring for children their primary spiritual practice. This pandemic has been especially difficult for those of us who are responsible for or care deeply for children or a specific child. We think of everyone who is separated from the children they are responsible for or the children that they love. We think of everyone who is at a wit's end about how to teach, how to parent, how to be a sibling, how to be a grandparent, how to be a neighbor, how to be a doctor. And of course, we think of the children themselves, who have been more adaptable than we knew they could be. And of course, we draw special attention to the children at the border who remain separated from their families. We keep in our hearts all of the families who've endured separation, and we hope for reunion and healing support. We do meet with joy in our hearts, with hope that this pandemic will come to an end. We meet hoping that the deaths and the fear will melt away, and that our bodies and our communities and our natural world will be able to breathe, that we will soon have the space to knit ourselves back up as we naturally do, that we will once again be able to meet in safety and celebration of all that we have, which is right and good and true in this world. And now let us do our mantra once more. I invite you to close your eyes, put your hand over your heart, breathe in through your nose and out through your mouth, and repeat after me. Let it be. Let it be. And as always, we rejoice over the exquisite beauty in this world, as small or life-changing as each piece of beauty might be. Find the stillness, hold the stillness, let the stillness carry me. Find the silence, hold the silence, let the silence carry me. In the Spirit, by the Spirit, with the Spirit giving power, I will find true harmony. Seek the essence, hold the essence, let the essence carry me. Let me flower, help me flower, watch me flower, carry me. In the Spirit, by the Spirit, with the Spirit giving power, I will find true harmony. Our reading today is a Quaker reading, and I chose it because the Quakers worship in silence. They meet together to sit in the empty space of silence until the Spirit moves and shines that light that is in each of us. And then after someone is moved to speak, once again, everyone is enveloped in silence, letting what was said be. Peace means the beginning of a new world. It means that the nations are friends. It means joy to the world. Peace is quiet and calm. It is rest. It is silence after the storm. Peace brings comfort and happiness. It brings bread to the hungry. It brings prosperity to the nations. It means the strong respect the weak. The great respect the small, and the many respect the few. It is like spring after winter. It brings sunshine into the world. It is like sweet music after harsh sounds. Someone recently told me that the first time she came to SMUUCh, I was out of the pulpit and other people were leading worship. And that it seemed to her that the worship leaders didn't quite know the order of the service, and that at each moment of transition from one thing to the next thing, they had no idea what was coming. And that she thought to herself, these are my people. These are my people, the ones who just want to be together. The come whoever you are people. People who are not interested in efficiency or perfection, but instead laughing and crying. I appreciated this comment about worship because it raised the question, where does the Spirit move? Now, this time of year is all about the Spirit moving in unlikely places, All these winter celebrations are about finding that unlikely light in the darkness, and indeed, we are all gathering this winter in hopes of finding peace in the chaos. And so this woman who came into what would become her sanctuary for the first time, what she saw were worship leaders fitting their beautiful, real human selves into the worship service. And she was seeing what so many of us see, which is that the Spirit moves in the humanness of it all. The Spirit moves in the truth of life, which is not perfect, but is human. The Spirit moves in our bodies, in our laughter, in our cries, in the light that shines within us, in our rest. I imagine that she came in and felt that she could rest spiritually. These people were not going to expect perfection from her at church. And being able to rest is one of the most important things spiritually. Being able to lay our bodies down. But our society would tell us otherwise. Yes, we live in a hustle culture, a grind culture, and we are its perpetrators and its victims. Our bodies are the vessel through which grind culture is enforced and the landscape of its wars. But it's not all our fault. This has been going on for a long time. Go with me for a moment on a journey into history. We as Americans have a warped perspective on the freedom of bodies to rest because we have a skewed notion of labor, because slavery was and is an actual part of our nation. Forced labor is woven like fabric into our skin, and in this way, we live in a death-dealing culture, which is not built to sustain life, but is built to sustain productivity and vigilance, excellence, and efficiency. We have been talking about this in the SMUUCh White Allies group. We meet every 2 weeks and we talk about such things as how do we, as white people, get us and our people free from these death-dealing cultures of which we are a part. And in our pursuit, we have been reading My Grandmother's Hands, which is a book about generational embodied trauma of being an American. If you're feeling yourself tuning out, just listen to this. In this book, the author Resmaa Menakem draws a line straight from us through slavery and back to Europe, reminding us that first there was forced labor in Europe. White people enacted unspeakable violence onto other white people in the name of progress and then used those tactics on black bodies here. And so, of course, it is difficult for us to rest because our bodies are carrying that generational trauma from all the times when the strong did not respect the weak, when the many did not respect the few and the great did not respect the small. There is a deep unrest within us, specifically around the topics of labor and working, and it's bouncing all around us. Our author says, it's not hard to see how trauma can spread like a contagion between couples, families, and other close relationships, but what we don't often consider is how trauma can spread from body to body in any relationship. And in this way, we become the perpetrators and the victims of the grind culture. Our bodies, the vessels through which we enforce it, and the landscape of its wars. I wonder, do you feel a nagging, a sense of compulsory doing? Me too. But the good news is that we can choose to exit this cycle. It has a lot to do with acknowledging that history so that we can make an informed choice to value our rest as a form of resistance. And we can choose to value the rest of others as a form of their spiritual health as well. Because if we hold other people to the standard of perfection too, if we expect our children to be efficient, or expect our spouse to be perfect, or if we demand that grind in any way from the people we supervise, or if we are critical of people who we don't perceive as progressing, such as people experiencing homelessness or addicts or prisoners, then we are passing this same trauma on. And we have become the very thing that we ourselves are fighting. Because perfection is the enemy of the good, and stillness is a wellness. Perfection is the enemy of the good, and stillness is a wellness. Rest is a tool of justice, a resistance, a way out of no way, a great sigh, and then space for peace. We talk a lot about the place of justice in our religion, and I think now we need to do an embodied justice to ourselves, a restoration of rest, to knit up some of that generational trauma around forced productivity, to step away from a society which puts your or others' value on how much you can do, and instead remember that every baby is born worthy of love. And that, like the babe in any parent's arms, we were born a light, a graceful, loving, silly, happy light. And that is the message of Unitarian Universalism, that every person has inherent worth and dignity, and that our worth has nothing to do with our worth, and that our dignity also includes resting deeply, deep soul care. And the last part of Unitarian Universalism that I want to bring up is that we are part of a web, and that how we act as members of that web will have an effect on everything around us. This message is a message of profound hope, that we are good deep down, that the divine is good and loving. And this message of hope tells us that of course we can heal ourselves from these death-dealing cultures that Mother Mary herself was living in too. Of course the world worships an image of the spirit which moved in chaos. The spirit which is restful in chaos, speaking words of wisdom, let it be. Remember that story about chaos in the church service from the beginning of this sermon? Perhaps what we are doing at church is practicing imperfection, and therefore practicing resting. Reminding each other that first and most importantly, we are human. In fact, I have a little secret to let you in on. When I am the one leading worship, I never know what's coming in the service next either. Once the worship service starts, I have no idea what's next in our little weekly order, so I paper the chancel with orders of services and stuff them into hymnals so that I have access to that knowledge, and yet we still get to every one of our sacred pieces of the service, which is the point of being there. We light the chalice, we sing to the children, have joys and sorrows, sing to each other, listen to words, sing together. So, if church is a place where we practice that imperfection and spiritual rest from the grind culture, I wonder, could church pervade your world more? Could you take time to remember moments in worship that we enjoyed? Moments when we could relax, feel safe, rest spiritually? Because trust me, the only time that we will have spiritual experiences is when we are rested. Only when we follow the lure of the serene and commit to it in ourselves and the other. Only then will we really be peaceful enough to know that the light that burns within us is so holy and beautiful that it is a life. That Mary may as well have been looking down at her baby self. For every baby that's born is sacred. Every baby should get to sleep and have a peaceful, serene life, a healthy spiritual sense, including you. Blessed be, and amen. Please find yourself in a moment of stillness and meditation. Close your eyes once more. Finding some space in your spine, however you can do that, whether it's looking side to side or drawing up taller or taking a deep breath. We all need to be moving more. At some point, the changes that we so sorely need can only come from within ourselves. So as much as you show up for your practices and your body is how much depth and inspiration you will find. So with your eyes closed, find a single sound and focus on it. Notice, does it change or fade or continue? And then draw your attention to your heart space. Direct some love towards yourself. Remind yourself that you are a sacred being, full of light and power, and that your process of release from productivity, starts and ends with your willingness to lay your body down and rest. And now I'll invite you to extend your mind's eye outside of your dwelling, noticing the space in which you sit. And take a moment to draw your attention to the natural world around you, over which the floor hovers, the ground which surrounds the basement, the cold, wet earth full of roots and rocks. And then draw a little map of all the trees that are around you. Imagine the vast sky Because this service has been about people who care for children, I thought I would read this beautiful reading called Earth, Teach Me about Mother Earth. Earth, teach me stillness as the grasses are stilled with light. Earth, teach me suffering as the old stones suffer with memory. Earth, teach me caring as parents who secure their young. Earth, teach me courage as the tree which stands all alone. Earth, teach me limitation as the ant which crawls on the ground. Earth, teach me freedom as the eagle which soars in the sky. Earth, teach me resignation as the leaves which die in the fall. Earth, teach me regeneration as the seed which rises in the spring. Earth, teach me to forget myself as melted snow forgets its life. Earth, teach me to remember kindness as dry fields weep with rain. Blessed be, and amen. The work of the church depends on us. In the context of global and national strife, SMUUCh can create and foster space for connection and healing. We invite you to give generously to support the ongoing work of our church. The offering will now be given and received in grateful appreciation of our shared values.
When I find myself in times of trouble, Mother Mary comes to me, speaking words of wisdom, let it be.
And in my hour of darkness, she is standing right in front of me, speaking words of wisdom, let it be. Let it be, let it be, let it be, let it be. Whisper words of wisdom, let it be. And when the broken-hearted people living in the world agree, there will be an answer, let it be. And though they may be pardoned, there is still a chance that they may see there will be an answer, let it be. Let it be, let it be, let it be, let it be. Yeah, there will be an answer, let it be. Let it be, let it be, let it be, let it be. Whisper words of wisdom, let it be. Let it be, let it be, let it be, let it be. Whisper words of wisdom, let it be.
And when the night is cloudy, there is still a light that shines on me. Shine until tomorrow, let it be.
I wake up to the sound of music. Mother Mary comes to me, speaking words of wisdom, let it be. Let it be, let it be, let it be, yeah, let it be. Let it be. There will be an answer, let it be. Let it be, let it be, let it be, my sister. She come to me and whisper words of wisdom.
We extinguish this flame, but not the light of truth, the warmth of community, or the fire of commitment. These we carry with us in our hearts until we are together again. Put your hand over your heart. Breathe in through your nose and out through your mouth. And repeat after me. Let it be. Let it be. Put your hand over your heart. Put your hand over your heart. Put your hand over your heart. Breathe in through your nose and out through your mouth. Put your hand over your heart. Breathe in through your nose and out through your mouth. Through your nose and out through your mouth. Let it be. 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 Put your hand over your heart. 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 Breathe in through your nose and out through your mouth.